Forget boxers, strippers have feelings, and apparently strippers have rights. So says a federal judge ruling that exotic dancers at a New York City strip club are really no different than workers anywhere, entitled to at the very least a minimum wage. Good for current and former dancers at Rick's Cabaret in Midtown Manhattan who brought the suit, arguing that they were being denied wages at the club, even though they were the main attraction at the club. The judge agreed with the strippers and not with the club, whose owner said that the strippers were more like independent contractors. Now, the club is appealing. The club's lawyer, Jeffrey Kimmel, is here. Rebecca Rose Woodland is taking the side of the strippers who are not here. Jeff, is this a setback, and how do you appeal it?
Well, we do intend to appeal the ruling. The case is still ongoing. There's large portions of the case that have not yet been decided. We expect that we're going to prevail.
Well, what was your argument against what they were saying?
The argument is that they're independent contractors, not employees. These workers are the epitome of independent contractors. They come and go as they please. They can decide not to come to the club to dance for weeks, months at a time.
Well, how do they get paid? Tips?
They get paid not in tips. They get some tips when they dance on stage, if they choose to dance on stage. However, they get most of their money by being paid performance fees for personal dances, otherwise known as lap dances, for patrons at the club. That they do on their own time at their own convenience. They're not required to do it by the club. So you provide,
or the club provides a vehicle for that?
The club provides the forum and
understood. Rebecca, I know nothing of what he speaks. Honey, I'll be home tonight. Anyway, what do you make of this and the strippers' argument that, well, they got to be paid a minimum wage because they are working?
Right. Well, what the strippers argued, and in this specific case, we're talking about a case in New York where we're looking at the federal law applied under the state law, which is a minimum wage law, the Federal Legal Standards Act, Legal Standards Act, where the strippers said, hey, we come to work every day. They're claiming they do. They're claiming they come to work every day, and the club asserted authority over them in terms of how they dressed, what they looked like, how they could act, where they could work, the hours they worked, all of that, all of which falls under the Federal Labor Standards Act and the New York State Act.
But if this is providing a forum for them to get a lot of money elsewhere, doing a lot of other things, then the club is actually helping them. Right?
The entertainers in this,
yes. The entertainers in this case earn multiples upon multiples of the minimum wage. Some of them earn on average $1,000 a night. They do that as independent contractors. And again, they don't have to come to dance at the club. They choose when they're going to come. Sometimes they tell the club in advance.
Have you had a chill on new dancers coming in knowing your policy that you don't pay them?
This is the custom in industry. This is what
I understand that. No, actually, I don't understand that. Do you...
I'm unaware of any chill.
Okay, so dancers are still coming in, and they're fine with this arrangement.
I think if you took a poll of entertainers at these clubs, the vast majority would say, I'm independent. I'm not an employee.
Okay.
Right. Well, these girls, apparently you declassified your class, though, as a result of this lawsuit, if I understand that correctly. And there's other women seeking the minimum wage, because it's not that they don't have to pay a minimum wage and get tips. Tips are acceptable, but when you fall under certain standards within the federal authority and the state interpretation of the federal law, you have to pay a minimum wage plus tips, or the minimum wage can get returned if they make more than a certain amount. There's a lot of requirements, but the federal judge said, and the state judge now will interpret that for the damages, that there is a
So why don't you pay them? Why does the club pay a minimum wage? Because then you could, as many restaurants have, claim a cut of their tips, and then everyone wins.
Well, the entertainers in that case probably would not win, because then there would be more control exerted over the entertainers, and they'd keep less of what they were earning at the club, because that money they earned would be the club's money, their employees.
Well, I didn't understand what you said, but I think Mike Tyson should settle this once and for all. All right, guys, I want to thank you. Seriously, we'll see how it goes, because this case is interesting to me, just on a purely academic reason.